Welcome back, and here is what we might do is, and next is to add a donut chart for our next visual, and then we bring it down there. Just shape it to fit in that box, reduce it a little, and now back to our sales data. We want to compare sales method, and then we want the total sales. Okay, and this is quite good. Let's format in case you don't have your legend to show up this way. There's a way to enable it. So, and let's go to format. If you don't have your format here, it might be at the top of this place, and then we click on format. Alright, so we have our legend. If yours is not in center right, or possibly you have it at the top left, you can just change it to be center and right, and that's it for the legend. And what we want to do is, for the background, I'm going to turn off the background. I don't want the background. And okay, so background is off, and let's go to title. Yes, we can rename the title to be the title casing, sales by sales method, and then you can make the heading to be 5 or 6 depending on your choice. And then let's have our fonts to be semi-bold. We bring it to the center, and then you can change the color of your fonts. In my case, I'm using the white color. Alright, and so that's it for the sales method. So we can close the title, and then we can go to the text, sales method, title, and let's leave it that way. For the text, we want it to be white, and change the text to be white. Let's possibly increase it a little. Okay, cool. And we have this color not quite visible, and we are going to fix that soon. So details for our label, since our label is outside. Okay, our label is fine. And for the values, we can change the values to be white, and then increase the text size. Okay, I think the text size is fine now. Okay, and then so let's go to the designs. So let's go to where we have our designs, which is, I'm going to close this panel. Now let's go to size and style. Okay, for our slices, we remember for our slices we want to change colors, and then let's say for our online the color is not quite visible, so let's change that to maybe something lighter. Okay, I think that color is a bit fine now and visible for the user to see. And that's all for this visual. And one more thing we can do is, let's see, okay, let's bring this back to all, and let's see for our spacing, can we do, okay, I think that's too, okay, I think our spacing is fine this way. I want to add one more thing to the spacing, and then let's go to our text box at the top here and add a text box. And what we want to add inside the text box should be, oh, let's say I want to add the total sales. Okay, and rather we can just delete it and use a visual for that. So I'm going to tab out and then just tab and then click on delete. Okay, so that one is out, and let's go to our new card and then just add only the total sales. Okay, that's fine. So let's just resize it and reshape it. Lead to and resize and then reshape, and let's okay, I think it's fine now. And let's say size and property. What we want to do first is to like turn off the background, and then we go to callouts value, and we can change our callout value to be white. And then before we change that, let's see if we can reduce the size of our font. Keep reducing until you have a better figure. Okay, I think this is quite fine, so I can shape it down a little. Okay, once we are done with that, we can just make it tableau, semi-bold, and then just reduce the size a little, and that's fine. So change my color to white. You can stay with your color, which is fine, and make it center, and that's fine. So the next thing is the reference label, which is total sales. We just leave it that way. And for our card, we want to turn off the background for our card, which is something we don't need. And the next is, let's go to, okay, for the shape, I think I should stay with the rounded rectangle. And I don't want no glow. We can just close our card. And for our colored value again, so let's see the label. Okay, we can just change the label also to be white and leave it above, and that's fine. And that's fine. So what we can do next now is to do the next visual. Now let's tab out, and then the next visual, I'm going to do a bar chart. Preferably you can choose any chart of your choice. So I'm going to choose, okay, clustered bar chart. No, okay, let's go with a column chart. And now I want to compare, okay, let's say our retail, and which of the retailers has the most sales. Okay, and we can bring our retails this way and resize it. Okay, and then so we have it to be fine. So, and I'm going to turn off my background first, and what I can do next is to go to my title, and then we can take out this and make it a title case once more, and then sales by retailer. We can make the heading 4 or 5. Okay, let's make it 5, or let's take with the 4, and then let's make it tableau. Let's make it the Sergio bold, and we can make it white, centralize it, or you can increase text a little if need be, but I'm going to stay with the white. And there we are. Okay, so we are done with the title, and on the x-axis we want it to be white, and then let's increase by 1 unit, and let's make it Sergio bold. Okay, that's fine. And so we are good with this x-axis value. And for the title, we can just make it Sergio semi-bold, and then we can have something like it to be white also. Let's increase this. Okay, and this is fine. Then what we can do next is for the layout. The layout is fine. Then on the y-axis, for the values, we want it to be white, and then let's increase it a little bit. And you can check bold. Okay, and I'm good with that. For the title, we can just make it white and bold. Perhaps that is too blurry. We can just turn off the bold and then increase. Okay, that's too dim. I don't like the color, so I can change this for Sergio semi bold, and that is quite good. Alright, and so I don't want grid line, which are these ones here. We can just turn off grid line to make it more visible. The next is for the data label. I want data label to be on. Okay, our data label is on, and we can have for the values to be okay, Sergio semi bold, and change the color to a more visible color, which is white. And there we are. We have our third visuals. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.